Your spirit's savor them. Be blessed with all that makes you happy and healthy today and every day.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
Yeah, she's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home. Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home. Baby, I'm home, I'm home.
It all seemed so easy, 'cause she did it on her own. There's so much she can teach me. She's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
Yeah, she's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
She's better off than she has ever been. Now she's made at peace with everything. Yeah, she's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
Yeah, she's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
Yeah, she's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
She's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
I wanna know who motherfucking representing here tonight.
You said you care for me, there for me, there. Said you be there for me, cry for me, cry for me. You said you died for me, give to me, give to me. Why won't you be for me, there for me, there? You said you care for me, there for me, there. Said you be there for me, cry for me, cry for me. You said you died for me, give to me, give to me. Why won't you be for me, there for me, there? You said you care for me, there for me, there. Said you be there for me, cry for me, cry for me. You said you died for me, give to me, give to me.
What's up, guys? All right, let's get after it. Who's with me? Who's with me? Make some moves. All right, let's see in it. We're seeing it. Right now, we're starting to get a nice little pump here with Bitcoin. Nice way to start the day through our Asian, London, and now New York session. Getting some nice movement. That is happening alongside some bullish movement with indices as well. So we love it. Love to see it. Morning. Needless playlist. So I was playing an Odessa mix. I think Odessa mix 12. So y'all can just search that up. Odessa mix 12. Odessa. So let me type that in the chat. Okay, rise and grind. All right, let me go through here, say what up to the gang. And I know that I want to make sure everyone here has access to the community as well. So I'll get you guys in there. And then for the syndicate here, let me double check and make sure that if y'all have any charts, I can go ahead and look at them here as well. Your Bitcoin play would have played out nice. Yeah, for sure. All right, let me see here. So here's the free community. Join the free community. All right, there it is. I'm going to go ahead and pin this. What's up, Karen? What's up, Giovanni? How you feeling, bro? Friso, yo soy el duro. Más que extraño cuando venías a PR y reunías con nosotros. Estuve ahí el año pasado. What's up, Machiavelli, Jocelyn, Flores? What's up, Brandon? Omar, Puccini, Patrick, Corey. All right, let me go to the top. Joe Ryan. What's up, Lonzo, Luis, Gabriel, Harshi? I see all over the place. We got people from Puerto Rico, from Germany, from like Belgium. Carlos, what's up? What's up, Javante, Dominique? Y'all in here. Gel, Seth, Morning, Kaz. ¿Dónde está mi gente de Latinoamérica? ¿Qué empresas de fondeo tienen más apalancamiento? Mi pregunta es, ¿por qué necesitas más apalancamiento? Normalmente no es una buena señal para un sistema de trading necesitar tanto apalancamiento con pocos pips. Moneybag Justin, what's up, Michael? Von Fibonacci. Feeling good. Doesn't feel like a Monday. It is not. It is Tuesday. ¿Qué tal desde Orlando? Hola, Igle. Cuando por acá. ¿Por dónde estás? México. What's up, Z? Linda. Gonna take a train to France. Enjoy France. Okay, so yeah, let me make sure, check in with the squad here. Guys, I want to talk about something absolutely epic. We have officially crossed 1,000. I'm going to repeat. We've crossed over 1,000 members in the free community. What's up, Marcin? Over 1,000. I'm going to announce here in a little bit after New York Open. I'm going to announce something massive. And, man, it's just so cool. So thank you all for just being amazing in here. And we're starting to see the community really cultivate the vibe, the energy. You guys are posting a lot of value in here too as well, not just on our end. So I love to see it. You guys are crushing it. We're giving a lot back here to the community as well. We just also announced the vault. So here I just uploaded one series of the many that are coming. And basically I'm going to be sharing here in the classroom. Because remember, guys, We have the, for beginners, the Launchpad, the Smart Money Playbook, more for intermediate, advanced. And then the vault over here. Now the vault, you have to unlock this just by participating in the community. But throughout here, you guys are gonna get tons and tons and tons of different sessions, different courses that I've done throughout the last basically 8 years or so. And you have the Trading Beyond the Matrix series that I know many of you are wanting to get here. And a lot of you that were learning with me in the past, you knew there was hundreds of hours of value. So little by little, starting to upload these does take some time. And so you'll see that soon. But yeah, I'm super excited to go ahead here and give you guys the announcement. I'll do that a little bit after New York Open. So once things settle after the markets, I'll go ahead and share with you all the massive news. But with all that being said, let's dive into the charts and let's see what do we got going on right now. Those Trading Beyond the Matrix were crazy. I typed my number, it does not accept it to apply, what do you mean? For what exactly? Okay, so yesterday was Memorial Day, so the U.S. banks were closed a bit more. And I didn't trade anything yesterday. I didn't expect us to have much volatility, which was the case. So you do have to learn to give yourself some time off the charts. If you don't have the discipline to just not do anything, like imagine you just looked at the market all day just for 100 points maybe. So did we get a reaction? Yes. It was a bit. This was the sell that I talked about us having. So it played out, and could you have caught 100 and maybe 50 points? Absolutely. So if you did trade yesterday, which is totally fine, you had probably a 40, 50 point move, caught maybe a 2-3R. Fantastic. And this got below the Asian session range. So pretty typical setup if you did decide to take that. From here, though, we have continued bullish. So there is a couple key things that we can keep in mind as we're looking at indices overall. One, the higher time frames. So I talked about this on Friday. I said, look, we crashed down below here, but when price came down to these levels, we are seeing a big drop into the zone. So we needed to see demand over here. And I said, look, I have a good feeling that since we're not really staying down here, this was not a confirmation for a lower low, that the market is actually not still bearish because there was so little demand and it was so temporary down here. This was just an excuse to liquidate buyers, lure in sellers, and then the market now has rallied. And so we're seeing, in my opinion, it looks like the end of this bearish move. And now, considering that we're still trading and we're looking to break above these highs, we can kind of continue to the upside. And if you look at this with Dow, really similar approach. Dow rebalanced completely this gap from Friday, May 9th. So we got this move all the way over here, came back to get into the zone. And then same thing, right? The market was here very briefly, came right back up. So I said, guys, look, I know a lot of you want to sell, but these lows are not, in my opinion, not confirming a bearish structure. These lows, they're pushing up. They are very brief. So I was looking more so for buys. And then now that even Dow Jones here, YM, traded above the previous highs, we've seen it trade up here for a couple hours. For me, it's confirming bullish structure. So after we're noticing more movement to the upside, we cleared the liquidity. We've been trading up here for 5 hours plus. In my opinion, we're better off continuing our movement to the upside. There's a couple key zones where I could see us having reversals if we do end up working our way down. And so I want to go over that right now. It also looks like Dow is slightly more bullish than NQ and S&P. So let's dive into this and get a little bit more detail, see where we can get some key zones. Right? Let's see if we can get some good movement. Now with Dow, first drop we have the initial move, which is this higher time frame, massive sell-off. So if we look at Dow over here, we see this just absolutely drop, liquidating, weeks worth of buyers, filling in the gap. And then from here, we see something interesting. So I want to show you guys. But when the market is dropping, it stops right at 41,430, comes back up, and then drops again. So that 41,430, what was happening in the past around these numbers? So it drops right into here, goes up, and then makes the final move down. So when we look at the market over here, in my opinion, this is a institutional sell-off. This is massive amounts of money, dropping price about 600 points. So can we see the market come back to this zone over here, this giant buy zone? I think it's extremely likely that we get back over here somewhere. 100%. Now, the difference is where within this are we going to see the reversal? Because we have the drop and imbalance over here. So there's a chance that we see the market over here. This would be coming back into for last Friday's New York session. The market then, ranges up and down, and it gets down to this low right there. Here we see another drop. So we can move this to the downside. To me, it looks like equal lows. This looks like support, but we do see the end of New York session drop, and then just to wrap up and to kick off the week, we get to where the week started. So I think for the market to get below the weekly open, it would make sense. So despite there being imbalance here, I think because we have liquidity, I could see the market rebalance here, clear out this liquidity, and trade into this range, right into this zone before we see everything go again. So this is kind of where I think where we can get a more specific entry somewhere over here. Now, maybe it's going to happen with NASDAQ. Could happen with anything else. But this is how I'm seeing it. Now, we have New York open here in just a few seconds. So we can start to see the volume, the volatility really kick in. And look at NAS. NAS is a very similar movement. And we can start to notice the market and which one's more bearish or which one's more bullish. And I'm going to place an alert here. So I want to see when does the market get to these, get back into this imbalance. Right over here. So I want to see that. And then with NAS, similarly, I want to see it break these lows, get into this liquidity. So something like this, we can definitely, find. So over here, NASDAQ as well drops back into these lows. You see the market moving. Friday with NASDAQ is pretty efficient, to be honest. Like, it goes up and down and up and down. It looks pretty decent. So NASDAQ here moving a bit differently. We'll kind of have we'll take a good look at this, right? Maybe NASDAQ doesn't make the same type of drop that we saw, and it might react right over here. Now, how many of you held NASDAQ buys that we talked about from last week? We had our setup here for the buy. How many held this play? Because I know we had the entry around 40 or 20,745 and then just rode it up to this high. So this had very, very good swing potentials. If you were CFDs, if you're in prop firms for futures, you didn't have that chance. But if you're trading live futures, then obviously you can still swing as well. So I'm really curious to how the market is looking here with NASDAQ or with Dow Jones. Things are looking really, really solid. So right now, it looks like Dow is definitely leading the move to the downside, which gives me an inclination to lean more towards buying with NQ, with NASDAQ over here. So buys in this zone kind of makes sense. I can definitely see that, and then us looking for the clearance of this liquidity over here. So clearing the Asian session lows and getting into the weekly open makes sense. NASDAQ is a bit more efficient compared to Dow. If you look at Dow just kind of flew up without really making anything. So maybe we see Dow sweep and get below the weekly open, and that might actually set up NQ to still stay within the weekly, this weekly low. So we'll take a look at this. I have some alerts set up. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, so what could we possibly sell then to work our way down to here? So could we catch a short to buy? And there isn't necessarily a mitigation setup. So there's not my textbook, sweep liquidity, establish a structure, and then we're looking to close the smart money seller, the smart money buy. So we don't necessarily have that type of setup. But what we do have is the good old shakeout setup that looks like it's appearing here. So during London, we saw the market pump to the upside. This move to the upside during London session clears out Thursday and Friday highs, and it focuses on the rebalancing right over here. So what we could see happen is we may see right now, because we saw the inducement of buyers, the liquidation of sellers, and now we're seeing the market pull back. Typically, this is a break and retest type of setup that the retail traders go for. So a lot of times you start to see people wanting to buy in these areas that we're in right now. So if we were to get a move back up, I could see us being able to sell off to this zone that we're seeing. Now, obviously, has potential. If it keeps dropping, then I would just look for the buy on NQ. But as you can see now, NQ dropping a lot more slowly. And if you look at S&P 500, S&P here, ES still, in my opinion, needs to work its way down significantly. So right now, I'm definitely not looking to buy anything, and I'm just giving the market some time to give us the right information. So I think in looking at how this is moving, a lot of key movement here. I'm going to stay away from buying Dow. I'm going to focus on buying NASDAQ. Entonces yo me voy a enfocar más, chicos, aquí en comprando NASDAQ, ya que está bajando más lento. Y creo que podemos ver esto aquí, básicamente reaccionar en el imbalance de la apertura de la semana. Y mientras Dow puede hacer ir debajo de la apertura de la semana, creo que así más o menos podemos ver la jugada. So let me know what you guys think. How are you seeing this? What's the perspective that you all have with the setup so far? And then for those of you in the syndicate, Let me know if you have any questions on any ideas, any setups. So Emmanuel's saying for the private community, you need just a number giving you an issue. Okay. I don't really know what that could be, exactly what that issue could be. You shouldn't really be having any problems there. You just plug in whatever your number is, plug it in. I think, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much, man. I think it's like 7 digits or something. Just plug anything in. Just put the right email, and then we'll reach out to you. Yeah, once we get a little bit past this New York Open, I'll give you guys some of the news here. Okay, so we're seeing Dow start to clear out some of this Asian session lows, going into London session from Tuesday, Asian session, all of Monday's movement. So right now we're starting to kind of chop into this. We're seeing some support adding up here. So this is pretty typical. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a decent bounce from this zone. This lures in buyers one more time. So I wouldn't be fully shocked if we get something like that. I'm sure NQ, NASDAQ here will lose a little bit of steam as well. And so this right here, what does it do, right? This lures in buyers, activates buy stops, clears out sellers. And then right now, this is clearing out a day's worth of buyers that were over here with their stops below these previous lows. So we'll wait this one out. Now, someone was asking about gold. I can take a look at gold. Missed you yesterday, Coach. Hope you had a good long weekend. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Since we're flying out the country tomorrow, so guys, tomorrow I will not be live. I will be on my way to Colombia. But yeah, I had to go visit. Gotta go visit the parents. Gotta go see the OGs. So said what up, and we're back. And it was a slow day yesterday, so I wasn't really interested in being glued to the screen. I'm really only interested in the liquidity to the upside, finding a buy to take price up there. Perfect. I like it. All right, so let's take a look at some of that gold that you guys are bringing up right now. Looking strong in the gym as well. So I appreciate that. That's love. Failing. Yeah, I'm trying to get those 5 plates up, but it's giving me some issues, giving me some struggles there. Okay, so with gold, we talked about a buy zone out of here last week. I think this was maybe Friday. And we got the reversal. We got the reaction out of here. So the market had a deep retracement, mitigated. So you can see the drop here was pretty significant. So you see the market drop about 140 something pips. From there, we finally get the big reaction here, 180 pips. So if you did take a position like this, then you would have seen a good reaction. You would have probably been up about 100 pips or so. I'm not sure if it would have hit your exit, but if you follow at least my trade management rules, then once the market mitigates, you move your stop loss to your entry. And then this kind of would have just come back to break even and then up again. So, pretty much a wash as a trade. So nothing really out of that. And then it's kind of just worked its way further and further down. So at this moment, I don't really have any interest in gold right now. There's not really a setup for me to take. The setup that ended up playing out was one we actually talked about here, where I said, hey guys, I could see why you would want to sell. over here. So I didn't take a sell, but I was definitely understood why you would. And as of now, I'm still waiting on shorts if we get way back up here. So just kind of patiently waiting on this one. So take a look at this. Right now, Dow has started to make its way back up. So push down, took out some buyers, working its way back up. If you take a look at NASDAQ also starting to work its way back up here. We can get into more detail as well. So before New York opened, we started to make our way over to here, and now we're seeing it drop. And just looking at this little 1 minute structure, we can see NASDAQ not even at a 38.2 pullback. And if you look at Dow Jones, Dow as well, it looks like the reversal here is happening pretty aggressively. So it looks like Dow now is moving to the upside here pretty fast. Relative to NQ. So if you look at this, NQ is kind of struggling to work its way up again, while Dow is pushing a bit faster. So if we see this kind of just fly up here, I'd be curious to see if we what kind of ends up becoming the sell-off. So gonna keep my eye out on Dow, on NQ. We'll see how this continues to evolve the market here. Got to keep our eyes out on this, all right? Because now we're seeing this pull up. So we saw Dow sweep basically all of Monday's session, bounce out of the zone. I had no intention of buying here anyways, despite it clearing liquidity. Didn't necessarily have buys, especially because we have imbalances in the weekly last week over here. So no rush on my end. What I am curious to seeing now, though, is are we suddenly going to see NASDAQ be more bearish and start dropping more aggressively compared to Dow? So that's what I want to know now is like, what is it really going to look like? Are we going to see, because, when we started this session, Dow Jones was dropping very aggressively. Now we're starting to kind of see things change a little bit. So we'll keep our eyes out on indices here. With gold, nothing really for me. With silver came into these lows, made another move to the upside. Not the biggest thing in the world. And then let's take a look at some of these other movements with the dollar. So we saw the dollar pick up a lot of momentum, swept rallies right now. So we're starting to see a shift in structure. USD CHF as well, finally popping off of the zone. We ended up getting a really nice reaction out of this initial zone. And then now we're seeing a shift in structure on the 15, not quite on the 1 hour. So one thing that I want you guys to really take a notice is that the 1 hour technically is still bearish. Until we break these highs, we're still in a lower low, lower high market. USD CAD slowly working its way up. GU here, we didn't end up selling anything with the pound after it didn't really confirm the right setups. So still waiting on movement here with these dollar pairs. I don't really have anything too much. We do see a really big drop on Friday with GU. So this definitely pushes down price, lures in sellers until it absolutely flips on its head. So GU holding it down. It's still pretty relatively bullish. You got NZD that's been working its way down, and then we had Australian. So unfortunately, AUD USD didn't give me the short that I wanted on this time frame, but it goes and it actually ends up mitigating the higher time frame. So it looks like we had too much liquidity built up over here, and our daily level ends up shorting on AUD USD. So it ends up pushing, and the squeeze takes out all of this liquidity, targets these highs, and then plays right out of the extreme. So the November high price action taps that and goes, all right, goodbye. Now that my business is done here, we can go ahead and work our way down. So really, really strong movement there. And with that being said, there may be an opportunity for another sell in the future, because you can clearly see here's where money comes in. Sunday Asian session drives price to the upside. And then now we're seeing that flip in momentum. So right now we're seeing this pre-New York open markets getting into there for the dollar. Australian deep pullback here. NZD right around the same place. Euro right around the same area. And then you have GU that's trading way up here still. So if you ask me, the pound is setting up most for success here. And okay, so check this out, guys. Now look at this. Now, and I'll go back to the pairs, but look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq just picked up so much momentum. It's flying way up here, almost retracing a 618 compared to, if we look at something like Dow. Dow is still chilling over here. So you see how we dropped and we're kind of just hanging out over here. I still think that we can push way below and get below these lows that we just saw here. So Sunday's zone right over here, I think we can get back down into this still. To me, our drop to start the New York Open here, we pushed down with a lot of volatility. The market does a great job at getting beneath Asian and New York session lows and London session lows from the first trading day of the week. But the big difference here is that despite this movement, price is still sitting relatively low. Like, there is still demand at these 4240 levels compared to NASDAQ that just dropped and flew right back up. So to me, it seems like there's definitely a divergence. There's definitely a divergence in price. And it seems like if we are going to eventually keep working its way down, it looks like the buy play would be with NASDAQ. And if we're going to end up getting sells, it looks like that would be with Dow. Sir Mike, in Spanish, please. Básicamente, estamos viendo que en acción de precio, en el movimiento de este momento, de ahora mismo, Nasdaq ha agarrado mucho impulso hacia arriba. Entonces, para mí, en mi opinión, las compras van a ser mejor para Nasdaq en una temporalidad mayor, como lo que estamos viendo, por ejemplo, por acá, como se está tardando tanto. Y las ventas como que puede ser mejor. Si sigue subiendo el mercado, probablemente lleva Nasdaq por acá arriba y podría llevar Dow Jones por esta zona. El problema con vender Dow es que pues también hay pues liquidez, hay consolidación. Entonces no es una idea como de máxima probabilidad. No está mal, pero no es la mejor tampoco. So yeah, we'll see how this one develops. I'm in long with gold from 32.90. Sweet. So back to GU here. Back to GBP USD. And yeah, guys, thank you. Someone else commented. Appreciate you guys for hitting the like button. Liking the stream shows that we got something good going on over here. Shout out to the 1,000 plus that have joined the community. And let's see here. I think after, in like 10 minutes or so, I will announce what we have for you guys now that there's 1,000 plus members here. So what I am interested in seeing is, will we have a big reversal in GBP USD here? Because you have such a massive sell-off here, right? Such a massive move to the downside. So you see the imbalance get filled instantly, and then from here we come back up to here. We trade higher for quite some time. So it's relatively interesting to see it playing out this way. But in reality, it's not a big, like, we don't liquidate a ton of money or anything. So I don't have, like, I'm not in a rush to trade anything here. Yes, it's a big order block, but even then, I think we already kind of rejected this on a lot of with different types of price action. Euro moved really curiously because it did drop, liquidate these positions, and then make its move. So I could see Euro USD also having a potential buy to close out this huge sell that it opened up right there. So I think if anything, it could be either Euro or GU. Like, I totally understand seeing the buys, especially clearing these London session lows again and then making the move. So I'll keep an eye on this between GU, Euro. We'll kind of just see of these setups which ones have the best probability to stay bullish, and that'll probably be based more so on current price action. Right now, GU is not even at a 50% pullback. Euro is slightly below 50% pullback, while AU and Euro and NZD are just way down here. So not necessarily in a rush there. We're seeing Dow Jones kind of just chop up in this range. GU I'm losing it. Nasdaq still chilling here too. So what does this show us? At least for Nasdaq, it shows us that when the market did make a low, there wasn't too much demand below 21,255. So this is holding up pretty well. Dow definitely doesn't have too much demand below 42,000 for right now. But we can't argue or we can't hide from the fact that there is imbalance, and then our weekly open was over here. So I could see shorts on Dow. They're more likely with Dow than they are with Nasdaq. And I do need to say, though, this is not necessarily a mitigation setup. In my opinion, this is just the market luring in with this drop, right? This lures in sellers, liquidates buyers. Now we can see the market continue to work its way up. And if we zoom out some more, I think you're all going to be able to notice this very well. There's definitely more imbalance to fill over here. Like, there's a lot more movement to the upside. We don't have to get to this today. None of this, there's no need to force any sort of movement. Just like we're seeing it there. US 30 Dow can also still make its move over here. So in reality, if we're looking at any sort of positions here, now what we can do is we can kind of switch up our mindset with the market here. And because we have to be able to adapt to the conditions. So what do we see? NASDAQ clears lows, rebalances, starts to push up here. So it's very clear that NASDAQ has little to no demand down here. Here's where we see New York open, drop, go up, drop again, and now we're seeing that move to the upside. So clearly price at these levels are virtually irrelevant. The demand is basically non-existent. So could we end up getting something like this instead? Could we end up seeing the market drop again? Maybe not necessarily right away, and then just keep the movement to the upside. Are we looking at a reaccumulation type of opportunity instead? So I'm going to go one screen at a time just so that everything looks a lot clearer. But take a look at this. You look at NASDAQ here, and you see, okay, do we have basically some type of low over here? Yeah. Right, we see a low down to here, plays into weekly open. Great. Then with today's New York open, we rebalance London session and the majority of, and we rebalance Asian session. Okay. So now that that's happened, we can tell, well, all right, so there's very little demand over here with today's session. Okay. Big push down. The market recalibrates. Okay, great. Either we get higher highs, Mike, is it bad to watch a trade that I marked up from a higher time frame on the 1 minute? I feel like I'm helicopter trading. I don't know what that means. Even though I see my fib entry play. So you're saying you should already be in, but you're looking for a different type of entry? Is that what you're saying? Mike, what patterns have you noticed when market reopens on Sunday with indices? Honestly, it kind of tends to want to catch up to whatever crypto did during the weekend. So someone said Dow did do an extremely small institutional move in the 1 minute chart to liquidate stops. On which side? I mean, watching it play out if you're in the higher time frame. So the question is, if you're taking a higher time frame entry, what does the smaller time frame do for you? Like, is there an actual motive for that or not? Like, is it going to change something? Is there a specific small time frame structure or setup that needs to happen in order for your bias to change or no? Okay, so look, guys, we're now into the new hour. We're just going to get a lot of volatility here. Like we just saw, Dow instantly started to push higher before coming back up. We're now seeing NASDAQ clear these highs. So there's definitely a massive divergence. Look at the difference between NASDAQ right now and Dow Jones. Massive, massive difference. Dow, on the other hand, is struggling to go higher. I think we're going to see NQ clear these highs. And what I want to know is, will we have demand up here or not? That's the big question for me. Are we going to keep trading here? Or is it just going to wick and come right back down? Because this is what I want to see. Are we going to see this? Or is it just going to go up and come back down? Because if we just see NQ, for example, so I guess back to dual screen we go. There's kind of two ways that this can go. So we have NASDAQ clear liquidity. Seems like that's a possibility here. And Dow can do something similar as well. But Dow is just struggling to go higher. I think Dow wants to short. You can tell. Look at the difference. Right now you're seeing NQ divergent, way more bullish. And you're seeing Dow just way down here, like substantially lower. So my theory is I think we're going to end up sweeping these highs. And then I think we're going to just drop. I think it's going to be a pretty aggressive move down. And that is what could lead to hold on. I think something went crazy here. All right, here we go. So NQ clearing highs, I think could then lead to NASDAQ either ending here or still going further. And it seems like that could take Dow back into kind of this imbalance here and then have it go further down. So very curious. With NASDAQ clearing these highs, that's what I want to see where that takes Dow. Because that is definitely a big difference. All right, place a stop over here. Okay, so now we wait. Now we wait and see. Look at that. Dow's still chilling. Still chilling. NASDAQ hasn't even really made any bearish move whatsoever. All right. Let's see it unfold. Look at that. Still bullish. Dow barely making a dent. Yeah, I'm definitely going to look to short this here. Once we get up here, though. Si me dejas subir un poco más. Si es que nos da el movimiento, porque creo que Nasdaq puede aquí sacar liquidez, ir subiendo más, podríamos ver Dow subir para la venta. So let me place an alert here for if this happens. And then let me see here. Let's see. Zoom out a little bit. And then it would give us higher time frame correlation because here we have a huge pump up and everything drops. So this could be a pretty big move, you know, maybe getting up to where we've seen some support and resistance over here. And then honestly, depending on how it goes, we may end up getting a buy on NASDAQ later out of here. If this goes higher and it keeps trading pretty high. Okay. Let's see. second. Okay. Cool. All right. In the meantime, let's take a look at a few other things. What's Bitcoin doing here? So the Japanese index is on fire, super bullish. Looks like it's up there. We have German index still ripping as well. So it looks like a lot of the markets are recalibrating. Oil, I don't really. So we had a sweep here on the low, and then the market gets above here. It kind of struggles to keep trading higher with oil. So we do get a 15-minute shift in structure. You see how we kind of drop down to here. We work our way above on the 15. We trade over here for a bit. Not the best price action. Like, it really struggles to go higher. I think we might get a decent bounce here, but not the most convincing. Bitcoin pushed up to 110,800, lost a lot of steam. It's looking more like that Dow chart than it is looking like NASDAQ, right? NASDAQ's flying right now, and then Dow's kind of really slow on the way up. So I wonder if this is kind of more in comparison to Dow. Wouldn't be surprised if we see this drop as well. Mexican peso still dropping. Natural gas here looks like it wants to maybe reaccumulate. Looks like it sell off upwards. Mitigation just now. Continuation. Okay. Okay. In the meantime, going back here to indices, Dow picking up a little bit of speed, and NASDAQ really more and more pushing higher and higher. Amazing. Look at this. I'm about to clear it. Okay, let's give that some time. That leads us to metals, which are currently rallying. Right now, we just recently, in the beginning of this hour, gold gave another push down. For me, still no entries or anything of that matter. I'm cool on that. USD/JPY looks like the dollar is gaining more and more force over the yen. So this may be a play here in the future. If we can see the market maintain this. For example, here we have the sell-off and then the rally. So if dollar yen can stay bullish and confirm demand, then this could be a buying opportunity in the future. You could see something like this. So we'll keep an eye out on yen. I'm going to have another alert up here if it keeps going higher. USD CHF, not quite bullish yet. USD CAD, definitely not. And then we had the GU Euro. We're kind of keeping our eye out on those. Okay. NASDAQ just a couple points shy of clearing the highs, these London session highs here. Like I'm saying, guys, the more Nasdaq keeps pushing higher and Dow basically does nothing, the more likely this thing is to sell off. I'm very much okay with just waiting. Like, I wouldn't want to sell here now because this could easily clear these highs one more time before it makes its move. So I want to see NASDAQ clear these London session highs, come into the imbalance from the 21st. And then in here, there's more. So what we can do is we can go take a look at NASDAQ and see, okay, maybe how far up can NASDAQ go? So if we look at this, take a look at this right there. So here is that pump before it all comes down. Okay. And you had the market over here. So this clears out tons of movement. This even actually gets a little bit above it, but now we're seeing actively NQ crossing. But this is where it all picks up. So right around 21,000, we'll say 21,400, it just starts to rip before everything falls apart. So I wouldn't be surprised if we work our way back up to something like that. See this just continue to rally into the zone. Obviously, there's a huge zone in which it can drop from, but this is more so what I'm looking at. And with NQ moving this way, it should start to bring Dow Jones a little bit higher to break out of these highs here and play into this zone. So in reality, I think anywhere in this area is a qualified sell. Anywhere in here. So we're seeing NASDAQ already above the previous highs, London session highs. All right, that's a good sign. Dow over here. Mellow, chilling. This is definitely leaning on the divergence big time. So see how much further this goes if it does, and maybe not, right? If it does want to just sell from here and Dow just start to target those lows, then that's fine. But I don't have I think there's enough incentive for the market to want to rebalance and kind of close out these buys before it goes. Although we have already the liquidity sweep, and NASDAQ could easily keep pushing higher and fill more in balance, and that can also take this here. So I'll keep it pretty chill. In the meantime, guys, while we're waiting, let me go check out the chat, and then I'll give you guys the announcement. ¿Qué empresas de fondeo tienen más apalancamiento? Mira, yo ya te dije. ¿Por qué necesitas más apalancamiento? ¿Para qué? No te voy a decir, te quiero proteger. Entonces, ¿por qué necesitas más? Suena como una idea terrible. Hazme caso. No sé, porque no me importa el apalancamiento. Si necesitas tanto apalancamiento, es un desastre normalmente. Te digo, con amor, te digo. He's asking what prop firms have the highest leverage. And I'm like, that's usually not a good sign. If you're looking for a lot of leverage, that sounds like a terrible plan. All right. From a train, we trade ever. Nice. You think NQ will go back down to midnight open? Midnight open. I don't know where you're at in the world, so I'm not too familiar with a midnight open. I'm so mad. I was in a little bit of drawdown and exited my trade market, which is creating a higher low, and it hits my TP. Why'd you exit the trade with the drawdown? Didn't you take a trade knowing that drawdown is a possibility? Oh, it's Naz. All right. I got stopped out. Okay. Yeah, I can take a look at ETH here in a second. Okay, guys. So here's the announcement that we got for you. All right. Trying to full port. Nah, I will not have no full ports here. I will not condone this type of behavior. So, all right, guys. Since we cleared officially 1,000 members, what we wanted to do here is we wanted to open up this space. Now, a lot of you have been asking for this over and over and over again, and I said, please, guys, bear with me, be patient. I want to be able to have as much done as possible. I want to have the complete roadmap to what the annual program would look like. That way, this is just and we have the right group of people, have the right qualifications. So now that we've cleared over 1,000 people in the community, people who are aligned, people who are, giving so much value, focused on process-based goals, process-based actions, no hype, no annoying Discord, no just spam, right? Just a quality group of people. We are officially opening finally publicly open the Sovereign Syndicate. Now, this is only going to be 10 spots for now to celebrate the 1,000 members. I wasn't planning on doing this yet, but only because we just smashed 1,000 members, and we are about to become the #1 trading community here in school. If you search trading, you will see that. So if you do want to apply, I will drop the option for you to do that here in the chat. This is an implementation program. So this is all about high levels of accountability, multiple sessions a week where we're doing interactive work. Like, this is not just participation. This is like you're submitting the inner workings of your mind, your technical systems, and the financial systems that you're working on. There's literally homework. Like, this is no bullshit. Like, you're in there. So only 10 people though for right now. For this first 1,000 members. In the future, we'll open up some more. So to apply, click this link here. This obviously it's an annual program. So this is something if you're gonna apply there, then it's because you understand that there will be an investment, and this is not a monthly, oh, hopefully I make money quick type of thing. This is like, I'm here to become a savage trader that is system evidence based and is absolutely ready to take things to new levels, guys. If you're brand new to trading, this is probably not for you. We're doing a lot more advanced work. If you don't know if trading's for you long term, this is not for you. If those are the big things. And if you're not in a good place financially, this is also not the place for you. I want to make sure that doing a program like this doesn't become something that messes with your trading. It's something that enhances your trading. Okay, so it's right there. You don't necessarily have to have a funded account to do it or anything, but you just need to be in the right state mentally and be willing and committed and be okay with having me kind of virtually kick your ass sometimes. So for those of you that are already in the syndicate and you want to share your thoughts, then feel free to do so. But yeah, you don't have to have. So if you don't have social media, just do whatever. It doesn't really matter. But anyways, I'll go back to it in a little bit. We're now seeing Dow in the zone here. So Dow pulling up to this area where I think we can have some pretty good opportunities. Now, where you place your stop loss, I do think is going to matter significantly here. So we are starting to see the market get into the where we started to get the sell-off here with the New York Open and all of that. So I like what we're seeing here. I'm taking shorts and see how this goes. So we're in there. Now, like we saw, right? NASDAQ clearing liquidity here. If you want to give yourself more of a stop loss, let's say you open up your stop a bit more just to make sure you don't get swept, then feel free to do so. I am in the mindset that we can see a significant, let me make sure my, did this open here? All right. All right, I am in there. Cool. So I just am finally in this position at 42,160. And I am going to give myself a bit of space in case we want to clear maybe potentially these highs. But for me, the short is a significant one to clear at least this liquidity at the lows that we just saw, and for us to get into worst case, or I guess best case, into this weekly open. I think that we can get actually below the weekly open, but this is where I'm at with this idea right now. So here's my setup. This is what I'm taking here. And then the big reason I like this idea is, one, the divergence between Dow and NASDAQ. NASDAQ has already cleared the highs of the week, and it's currently rebalancing some of this movement from the 21st, which was last Wednesday. So if NASDAQ maybe wants to fill a little bit higher, that's why I'm kind of giving myself a little bit more wiggle room with this idea. 63 point stop or so. You could even go up to here probably. And then, yeah. So I'm at peace with this idea, not necessarily forcing anything, fully committed to the risk that comes with a setup like this. So if there's drawdown, that's okay. That's already accounted for. That's not, that doesn't change anything. So you have to fully accept the risk before you, for what it is, before you want what you want. So if you, right now, let's say, you have to imagine that the trade could go to here, that it could go to here, and would you do something different? So right now we're up about 15 points or so, 20 points or so. With the setup, it's looking good so far. We already had an inclination that if it does go our way, that there is a lot more bearish momentum on Dow versus NAS. So let's see this one roll through. All right, so that one, got that going. Have some positions here as well. All right. Cool. All right, 1 second, guys. Let me just double check here. Make sure all my stops are in the right place. Gotta double check since I'm managing a few different accounts here. Let's see. Where is... All right. So who decided to take this? Who's, you're like, hey, this isn't my setup, so I'm not taking this trade. If that's you, then amazing. That makes me happy that you're following your system. You're following what your plan says. That's amazing to me. You have to be willing to sometimes not take what I'm taking because it could work out in your favor. I could take a loss, and then you're chilling, and you're like, look at me, I didn't lose, because that one didn't make sense to me. And sometimes you won't take a trade that I take, and it does work out, and you also need to be okay with that. Like, oh man, like it didn't, like I could have taken it, I would have won, I would have made money, I would have blah blah blah. But if the logic, the mindset isn't there, the understanding isn't there, then that's also fine. What I'm liking as well some more, we're seeing NAS go even higher, and then Dow still kind of holding within here. So this is usually a good sign. Okay. Let me double check here. The stream, I wonder if the stream is cutting off too much. One sec, guys. Okay, so should be good. Okay, here we go. All right, so we'll let that run through here. Let me go ahead and check out the stream. Here's the chat. I'm gonna pin, so if you wanted to apply to the syndicate, I'm gonna pin that now at the top. Fill that out, and just so you guys are aware, it's either gonna be myself or my right-hand man. I got Armando, who's going to be walking you guys through what the implementation program looks like, and then the enrollment process to do it, okay? Mike, ¿sabes si tienes que activar algo en los videos de YouTube para activar la traducción de voz nueva de YouTube? Algunos videos lo tienen y otros no. Es de mi parte, es de mi parte. Entonces, videos de YouTube yo los tengo que activar. Ahí yo puedo revisarlo ahorita, lo confirmo. Win or lose, this trade doesn't make me better or worse trader as long as I stick to my plan. That's the exact mindset, Lonzo. Was that a higher entry? All right, Sophia's in there. Gail in it. Took the short. Might play out the 886 zone. Looks like it just tagged it. I took the sell in Dow. I was seeing the same thing as well on my end. All right, perfect. I decided to stay out. I'm not convinced. Perfect as well. Entry was 42,163 on top step express funded. Nice. Dripco on the express accounts. Ruben, I took a sell on NAS, 50 pip stop, 0.5% risk. Perfect. Blipped is in it. Okay, so it looks like we're in it here. Looks like a lot of you just decided to take. Some of you maybe not. Quereisha, what's up? We got Puerto Ricans in here. Representando. Okay, so look at this. We spiked up into 21,383 on NAS. So the liquidity capture fully happening here, and then now it looks like it's starting to lose some steam, which is helping Dow get back into profit. And I wonder if from here we can start to see a good movement. So for me to go break even, the move to the upside was pretty decent. We had about a 75 point move. So if we start to see this sell off, 75 plus points, just get a pretty good rejection in here. That could lead to, moving stops to reduce the risk or straight to break even. Entry is pretty solid. If we have pretty efficient price action on the way down, that also helps, knowing that, okay, there's a good chance that I don't get just like wicked out of the idea. So let's see. Let's see where we go from here. I'm in with you. Awesome. And then for all of you that are in the free community, I'll post a write up for the syndicate here. So for those of you that want to apply to join here, we have about currently a little over 20 people, 25-ish, already in here that are doing the annual program. So feel free to check it out. Okay, so where did you drop your ETH trade, Vaughn? Oh, here we go. New post. Okay, fracture identity. Unless you didn't post it here and you posted it here. All right, so right now, look at this. Holding up pretty well. NASDAQ trading high. I like our odds. All right, so Vaughn, your ETH setups are right here. Let's see. My broker didn't trigger my limit, so I'm in a sell stop. Okay. Broly. All right, perfect. Yeah, got your application here. So ETH, that's a huge drop. Okay. Then you're seeing Wyckoff. So here's the reason I actually don't see a drop like this yet. And I'll explain why. When you see this drop right here, so this is good. And I love that you put the Wyckoff schematic right here as well. So you see how you get the drop right there? This drop right here. The reason I don't see this as a distribution is because the drop that we saw with Ethereum was very, very short-lived. So it comes down, comes back up, comes back down. This to me does not show me that there's a bearish structure or that there's even demand at this price. It shows me that price drops here to liquidate buyers, to lure in sellers, and it instantly comes back up. So I'm not fully convinced yet that these below 2,500, that this is a significant indication to a bearish structure. Okay, that's why I'm not necessarily convinced on this. So I think this to me looks like a reaccumulation. So if you want to look up a reaccumulation schematic, then that might be useful to you. So, but that's my perspective. If it wasn't for that, if we were solely looking at pattern, sure, I could understand the sell. But since my approach is more of a narrative base. So what's the purpose behind the move down and up? And not just is price low or high, it's why is it where it is. That's what makes the biggest difference for me. So that's my thoughts on this one, Vaughn. I get it though, totally. I think a few years back, that's kind of where I would have probably considered that as well. Marcos, so this one, unfortunately you got clapped on Nas on this one. And I went over though live why I wouldn't go for this. So, but good either way, good setups, good ideas. Omar, looks like you had a Nas play. I think that one just missed you, unfortunately. All right, and then guys, remember the vault does open up once you hit level 3 here. The vault opens up for you. New week, more opportunities. That's right. Okay. So right now, we're seeing Dow just kind of holding up. Nas still pushing higher and higher. Dow, the bears are really fighting. The bears are fighting right now. So a little bit of profit, nothing too substantial yet. Nothing worth for me to move stops or anything. Still in an area where just kind of let the market continue. Okay, looks like UJ still going higher. Good. Reaccumulation vibes, are they? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. NAS 100, aún no hay entrada para yo entrar al chat. Yo estoy vendiendo Dow, no Nasdaq. Nasdaq está súper alcista, más toros aquí. Y Dow está manteniendo una estructura un poco más bajista, manteniendo los vendedores como en el juego mucho más. Entonces prefiero las ventas con Dow que con con Nasdaq. Can I look at USD CAD sell? Sure. USD CAD, aka 6C. Where exactly are you looking at a sell here? Corey, go ahead and drop the chart in whichever, whether in the free community or in the sovereign syndicate. So here we have the sweep of the high over here, and then the drop. I'm imagining this is what you're seeing. I wouldn't trade anything in here. Way too choppy. So are you looking at something over here? Your USD CAD sell. Or maybe it is in here. Oh, my bad. Got it. Syndicate. Here we go. Same zone on 6C. It looks like Jenny and Seth like this one too. The sweep and the drop. Okay. So yeah, basically what I was about to look at here then. So this was the move from the, looks like the 23rd. All right. Let's get a little more detail. So we definitely see it an uptick in momentum, clearing the Asian session, London session highs. Okay. The market drops. Definitely see a substantial move to the upside. Here was that last pump. So I think if you wanted to see a short out of USD CAD, definitely looks like it would be right in here. Okay, something like this looks solid. So this is what it looks like with currencies, just the foreign exchange. And if we look at futures, what do we got here with futures? Guys, appreciate all of you that got your notifications on so that you always know when we're live. For those of you that have liked the stream today, for those of you that are just engaging in the community, engaging here in the chat, it gives us this a much more interactive experience. You guys just helping each other out in here too goes a long way, I'm sure, especially when I'm analyzing and I'm not able to answer some of these questions. So appreciate you guys. Yeah, so for sure we see that here we get that next wave, which was the real liquidity push down. So with 6C, so after, here we go, gets below and then rips. All right, so let's see where this takes us here. Now, I know we just saw a nice little pump again with Dow to the upside after it was up about, I think maybe like 25, maybe 30 points. It's like right around entry again, maybe even 5 to 10 points in drawdown. So let's take a look at this. NASDAQ still pushing higher. Dow kind of chilling here. Still holding this area. For me, like I said, I'm still definitely willing to hold this out because of that divergence. The one thing is just like, I wonder if the stop's going to be enough. So maybe we sweep some of this. Maybe we get above this high and then it finally makes its move. That's the only thing I'd be curious to see if it doesn't hold up as well. But either way, understanding and committing to the risk, I was down for the cause. Let's just see if we get a reaction or not. Because right now, considering that we had just almost equal highs over here, and then this is internal liquidity that it can take out, there's always that possibility that it can take this also and then make the move. But with the divergence included, I was like, I'm down. I'm willing to see X amount of loss in order to see this one roll out. This is good though, that we just swept this this sideways movement we had, cleared it, and then now making a move down. If we can continue this momentum, that's a very good sign. So yeah, so to add to that USD CAD or 6C perspective, I like it. I like either the buys on Canadian dollar futures or the shorts with USD CAD. Mike, ¿tienes alguna regla con el tiempo en que estás dentro de un trade? Si estás dentro y se ponen a acumular y llevas más de 2 horas, ¿lo cierras o dejas que llegue el TP o algo así al break-even? Depende de qué tipo de movimiento está sucediendo. Entonces, por ejemplo, en este caso, si, digamos, Nasdaq sigue subiendo, pero Dow Jones sigue en consolidación, pues en verdad eso me da más confirmación de que podría caer, como lo que hizo la semana pasada. Entonces, por ejemplo, tuvimos mucha consolidación y seguía volando Nasdaq y Dow Jones se mantenía bien quieto. Entonces eso me indicaba que están más fuertes los osos que los toros, y pues aguanté. Y de ahí pues se nos dio la caída enorme. Mike, what pair should I watch with USD CAD? Like, what does it correlate with? So you can check, and it depends on higher to lower time frames as well. So you can check like my FX book correlations. This is one good way to check. So with currencies specifically, so check this out. Go here. Here, I'll just drop this in the chat. That's for correlations right there. So you can pull up USD CAD right there. Click on that. And what you're going to notice specifically with USD CAD, there's positive correlations and then negative correlations. So on the positive side, USD CHF is decent. There's a couple other like exotic pairs that you can check out. But on the negative correlation, you'll see like an inverse movement with Euro USD. So it moves kind of the opposite of how Euro tends to move. That's one. And then you could also take a look at oil. Oil and USD CAD have an interesting correlation. So, for example, you'll see oftentimes kind of the opposite of USD CAD and oil. But in my experience, I've done okay, not actually considering too much. I feel like USD CAD, of course, the dollar's involved, so you can just consider the dollar in general. But a lot of it will kind of just be on its own, since it's, you have Canadian dollar that's influencing. So if you know there's Canadian dollar news that's coming or anything like that, then just look at, Euro CAD or, NZD CAD. Just other Canadian dollar pairs will help you. And then if you know it's more of a dollar-driven day, then, you can keep those things in mind. So, okay. as of right now, guys, Dow slowly but surely still kind of here sitting in drawdown. I want you all to focus on, does this do anything to you? Does the fact that you're 15, maybe 20 points in drawdown, is this influencing your decision making? Did you get in again for some reason, right? Did you add more risk to your trade? Did you get out for some reason? What has changed? Has anything changed? And you're just making decisions because fear is starting to creep in. You're starting to hesitate. You're doubting, should I have done that? Oh, no. And then if there is a bigger emotional pull, why? What if your risk rule maybe is too big? And so now any little decision that you make, it's kind of moving you and causing all of these thoughts or all of these actions. So consider these things. Doesn't matter which trading session a setup happens in. I tried that AU trade last week and it didn't even really react off the structure. And it stopped me out. I took it around 2. Honestly, I think it was just going for a higher time frame move. Because, I got stopped out too. So, because it ended up pushing towards that higher time frame mitigation. So it seems like that's just all it wanted to do. So does it matter? I'd say, you want to make sure that there is volume, that there's going to be money moving. Because we're counting on money coming into the market to swap from buyers to sellers or sellers to buyers. That's what we're counting on. So I would say that's a big thing to consider still when wanting to take anything with whatever assets. So like, for example, with indices, you can see Asian session setups go down, right? You'll see Asian session setups happen. You'll see London session setups happen. And a lot of times these are happening at different times, different sessions, because we have a lot global fundamentals. We have, tariffs with Europe, tariffs with China, tariffs with Japan, whatever the situation is. So that's kind of a big difference, a reason why things are happening. So thinking now, looking just at the setup, okay, now we're sitting at about 30, 35-ish point stop, or not point stop, in drawdown. At this point, excuse me, I kind of wish I would have given myself a bit more room for this trade. And giving myself at least to these highs, just in case the market wants to, just refill this in a little more before it drops. I'm not necessarily, let's see, looking at my setup here. Technically, I'm under leveraged slightly, so if I really wanted to, I could move to here, and then I would lose accordingly. But I know a lot of you guys here are, you already placed it the way that you placed it. So I'd say it's really going to be up to your discretion, but moving stops are, I don't really encourage moving your stop just because it can become a bad habit in general. So not ideal in my opinion. But let's see if all we wanted to see was a crack above that high, and then the market just kind of does its thing. So maybe this was enough for us, and that was the main reason. In case it wanted to crack this before making its decision, then we can go ahead and see the market do its thing. And now it's just a matter of seeing it roll through. So let's see. What is unfortunate here has been the fact that NASDAQ started to move sideways, and then Dow has only moved higher. So now that divergence, that either way, like higher time frames, we still do have the divergence in our favor. But now we're seeing NASDAQ starting to work its way down and Dow not necessarily follow suit. So that's a little bit annoying. Ideally, this is the setup. Like, this is the ideal setup here. But you know, if you had yours over here and you have to keep it there to follow your risk rules, then absolutely do that. Now, the other thing that I can imagine here that can happen is that we're just going to end up, Dow just wants to sweep these highs too. So what we could see here is the clearance of this. Clear these bad boys, and then that might set up everything for a drop. So there is a possibility that it clears the highs and then makes whatever move that needs to be made. So this might be what we see: clear the London session highs and then continue to the downside. But don't chase it. You know, don't keep opening it and opening it and opening and just hoping that you're right. If we get a completely new scenario, then perfect. What I will add, though, is that, and I want to leave you guys with this before we'll see. Let's see how much longer I'm going to stream here. But NASDAQ has left us with beautiful buying opportunities now. So we saw a nice sweep to the downside. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So now Nas has done a great job. We saw the sweep below, rebalances over here, goes to the upside. We've been trading up here for almost 45 minutes or so. So from here, I think we could see a nice, we've confirmed really well. So this is where New York Open comes in, drives the price down, takes out buyers, and then we've been successfully trading above here for, as we've mentioned, about 35, actively right now 35 minutes. So this is giving more and more confirmation that the market could react from here and then go higher. So obviously keeping your eye out on what this looks like exactly is going to be important. Taking a position over here to me makes sense. So I'd say below 21,250 and below just look a good place for buys. And then you'd have more imbalance to go fill. So something like this looks solid. So, all right. I would say if we get something like that, then I think we can see a healthy move, another extra, like 150 points, give or take. Could be good here. Yeah. So I would wait around for this as well. I visualized the trade hitting my stop already. If it does, no problem. On to the next. Amazing. Good behaviors there, Ruben. Applying the lessons, man. Hell yeah. Perfect. Okay, so starting to lose some steam. Let's see. We're seeing Nas here. Kind of, it's chopping up, moving sideways. Let's see if the market's on our side today and wants to give us a little bit and wants to push down again. Either way, like we've mentioned, just accept the risk, accept the overall trade. What we want to do is eliminate just bad behaviors, eliminate the need to be right every time or anything like that, and just trade the game, trade the plan. Awesome. So, guys, obviously the free community is here for all of you to be involved in, to ask questions, to share your wins. If maybe you long today instead of looking for a short, amazing. Maybe you held NASDAQ from last week and you're letting this thing rip. So whatever's going on, or it's just behavioral. If you're acting in accordance to your system. You've been able to prioritize your psychology. We want to see them in here. We want to see you guys keep crushing it. Like mental wins. Here we go. Yoselin literally just posted this. So, and then at the top, guys, pinned, there's only going to be, we're doing 10 slots now that we just freshly hit 1,000 members in the community. So that is for the annual program. That is extremely hands-on. You will have accountability partner as well as, working with me on a daily basis and going through the 3 main pillars, which is the internal, external systems and the financial systems to dominate this. Please only apply if you are very serious and committed to this, if you have the right expectations to what trading really looks like, and you are in a place financially for it to make sense for you, right? This is not something that is just going to, replace your income in a week or anything. Like, we're diving in deep. Okay. So fill that out, schedule it, and we'll see you on the inside. Tomorrow, I will not be live since I'll be flying to Colombia, but we will be back on Thursday and Friday.